Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. To say hello to former GOP Congressman Joe Walsh. Hi, Joe Walsh.
Hey, Stephanie Miller, I mean this. It's great to be with you, and I have been a fan of yours from afar.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I think when you called yourself a divisive hole on Nicole Wallace last week is when I finally fell hopelessly in love. There's nothing that makes a woman hotter than a man admitting he was wrong, and I just have to say. And you actually said,
I should be extremely hot, Stephanie, because that's all I've been doing for 6 years.
Oh,
exactly. Joe, for people that don't know, tell us because we are literally at the rapist isn't going to pick the puppy killer now for vice president in your party. What has happened to my dad's party, to your party?
It became an authoritarian embracing cult. I know that sounds kind of trite by now, but I started saying it 4 or 5 years ago when I left the party. It's Steph, it's not about ideas. It's all about homage to this man because the base of my former party is really pissed off. And this man said, I will go after the people you hate. And they've clung to him and they've never let go.
Much of it, Joe, we've mentioned this before about people just don't want to be wrong. They don't want to feel like they've been conned. They don't want to feel like they lost. And Donald Trump plays to all of that, I guess, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. Look, again, you know my history. I come from the cult. I'm a reformed MAGA gangbanger. But I still engage with these folks every day because they used to be my friends and my supporters and my radio talk show listeners. I lost them all.
Yeah, you get called the C word almost as much as I do, Joe.
Oh my God, you and I share that, Steph. My God, I'm a traitor. I mean, when you leave your family, you become a traitor. Many of them do have a hard time admitting they're wrong, but we underestimate how strongly these folks still believe in what he is.
Okay. Because I can't, he is so despicable, Joe, that I can't help but think you were despicable if you support him. Yes. I just don't, we are 88 felonies in. I don't even know what thing to focus on anymore. We're in the first of, 4 trials, right? You tweeted, democracy dies when you check out. Oh, they're both bad choices. Tough. Stay in the game, vote, then pick up a history book. Democracy needs you. I mean, really, democracy is the only issue. But I also take issue, Joe, with the whole, lesser of two evils. We always play this audio of Lindsey Graham crying, Joe, crying, back when he was Lindsey Graham, about how God has never made a better man than Joe Biden.
If I could bring one person back to life, Stephanie, it would be John McCain, because John McCain would whack Lindsey Graham upside the head every damn day. What a disgrace he is. But like all of my former colleagues, look, nothing should matter more than the preservation of our democracy, because this man would do away with it. But Stephanie, look, to his base, and I hear this every day, and I've heard it for 6 years, they've given up on democracy. Like, they want a certain America back. They don't believe the democratic process can get it back for them. So they tell me every day they want a dictator, a strongman, to do it for them. That's scary stuff.
Yeah. But it is interesting that Colin Jost talked about decency. That I really do feel like here we are, Joe. Like, have we at long last no decency in this country? I mean, I hate to say it, but Kristi Noem, cruelty has become not a bug, but a feature of the Republican Party. You can go like candidate after candidate in the Republican Party.
Amen. Stephanie, when I was a Republican congressman, and especially when I was a right-wing radio talk show host, man, the crueler you were, the better. Yeah. The meaner you were, the nastier you were, your ratings went up. We were all incentivized to feed our audience the right in America, that stuff. I couldn't take it anymore, but it works.
And let's be honest, the radio talk show host is already the lowest form of life. So
no,
doesn't really...
By the way, this is why I love you. I love radio. I miss radio. When I opposed Trump publicly, I lost my show. Radio to me is like so intimate. And you're so good at it. So keep it up.
Thank you, honey. No, but we've had this conversation a million times. You know this to be true, Joe. The people have said if you would go back to your roots, to your dad's Republican roots, you'd get 500 stations tomorrow and be a multimillionaire. And I'm like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
You've had syndicators tell you that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it is, but that's what's, so frustrating on our side is that I'm like you, my democracy is more important to me. I mean, I look forward to the day I go back to hating you, Joe Walsh. Do you know what I'm saying? We fight about actual issues, but you are wrong about everything else except.
Well, I was wrong about plenty. And I say often how I haven't changed. I've always been kind of a Tea Party libertarian. But Stephanie, I can't lie. I woke up on a lot of the cultural issues. I was a jagoff 6 years ago if you'd have said Black Lives Matter to me. Now I understand what that means because I spoke to Black Americans. I used to go crazy with the 64 different genders because my audience wanted to hear that crap. But again, so I've woken up on a lot of the cultural issues. But my right flank, they still get off on that stuff, which is why they're feted every
you
day.
Personally, it's because you fell in love with a lesbian radio host.
I am in love with you. Yes. Oh my God, I've
Joe,
been outed.
Were you visited by 3 ghosts? Seriously, what happened to you?
Stephanie, people ask me all the time what finally changed. It really was his election in 16. When he became president and I finally started to pay attention to him, I'd go home every night from my radio show and I'd ask my wife, my God, do I sound even a little bit like that?
Yeah.
He woke me up.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at you. You're woke.
Proudly woke.
Yeah.
We just got talking about what's going on in college campuses, Joe, and I thought, the other thing, first of all, I might be too old to understand it. I understood Vietnam. It was our war. We were sending a lot of American kids to die unnecessarily. This isn't our war. I feel like Biden is doing the best he can in a horribly difficult situation. I don't understand what Jewish kids have to do with Netanyahu's policies or Muslim kids have to do with Hamas. Do you know what and so I sort of am at a loss. And I do think there's a lot of, as you know, outside agitators that, Republicans now want to rush in to be able to say, we stand with Israel and condemn this or that. And this is the party of Charlottesville. This is a party that routinely has Nazi flags show up at their rallies, right? Very fine people on both sides.
I'm very pro-Israel. Look, Stephanie, this is a bad issue for Biden. It's a bad issue for the Democrats because I believe, and you and I could have a fun conversation about this, for a lot of different reasons, Republicans are very pro-Israel. But this issue divides the Democratic coalition, plain and simple. There's pervasive anti-Semitism on the left that the country's being exposed to. Stephanie, I don't think most of these student protesters are protesting because they want a ceasefire. I think a lot of them, in their mind, they just oppose Israel. They think Israel's bad. And that's a problem for Biden because he's right in the middle of it.
Netanyahu has a lot to do with that, though, Joe. I mean, that's what, I guess somebody tweeted, you retweeted, all of us together are confronting the shocking reality that a group of Yale students has declared the center of Yale off limits to those who do not share their political views, particularly since their intent and effect is to rid parts of Yale of Zionist Jews, among others. And you said protest, sure, but you can't be allowed to block off a piece of campus from everyone who doesn't share your views. And you just also said, newsflash to the world, Jews aren't going where Israel isn't going anywhere. Deal with it. You probably have heard me say my dad was a Nuremberg prosecutor.
Yeah.
But, this part, Donald Trump, Joe, and the Republican Party, I'm sorry, they are anti-Semitic and anti-Islamic. Whatever side of this issue you're on from any point of view, this is not your party. They are not. They are the Muslim ban party. They are the party that Nazis gravitate to. I mean, it is just, as someone was saying, this is like there's not a basket big enough for the deplorables in your former party.
They are, Stephanie. My former party is the party of intolerance, plain and simple. Keep everybody out. The reason Trump won is because when he came down that escalator in 2015 and he said, "I'm going to build a wall and keep brown and black people out." the Republican establishment went crazy, like this is horrible. But I went on my radio show that night, and every Republican person out there loved it because they wanted that. I agree with all you're saying about the Republicans. I really do. This particular Israel issue, though, is a problem for the Democrats because they really are generally divided on how we should relate to Israel. And Biden, I think 20 years ago, Biden could have addressed it. I just don't know if he can right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And it scares the crap out of me because Donald Trump is evil. Yeah. He's anti-democracy.
Yes.
And Stephanie, if the damn election is held tomorrow, he beats Biden electorally. Mm-hmm. And that scares the piss out of me.
You're also a potty mouth, which is why I love you. You actually called yourself a divisive last week. And I love that about you. But, I mean, Joe, I think that's the thing is you and I long to get back to where we're actually talking about real issues, and it's just there's such a huge fight against disinformation. I mean, we're not even dealing with one set of facts as Americans anymore. What do we do about that?
So here's the deal. I'm older than you. I'm an old guy.
Oh, now you're really trying to get in my pants.
Stephanie, man, we are starting something. I will, in my lifetime, I could never, ever run as a Republican again. I think it's done. I think that party is on this train track and it's never getting off. I'd have an easier time becoming a very conservative Democrat. We need to get back to the issues, but that party won't. I think maybe in the next couple elections, you may see a viable new center-right party.
Yeah. And then I'll hate you again. But there's something about handsome former Republican congressmen that trigger my daddy issues.
Oh, God.
And I didn't yell David Jolly's name out once during this interview, have
you? There you got me. There you got me.
But I say it over and over. Joking about, my dad was the vice presidential candidate. And guess how many puppies he shot in the face, Joe? Zero. I mean,
hey, we don't know, Stephanie. We don't know if that's going to hurt her chances to be Trump's VP. I mean that.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Yeah, and we've already bonded. Well, first of all, you have two beautiful labs, and then I said I have two little, Shih Tzu Yorkies, and you said those aren't even dogs. And then I hated you again.
Maybe dogs.
They are dogs. I mean, but it is a bipartisan issue, I mean, I'll never forget. I told this story, right, Chris, that Sean, when my beloved St. Bernard died many years ago, quite suddenly, Sean Hannity wrote to me and said, because he's a big dog person too, and he wrote and said, I'm so sorry and whatever. And he said, can I buy you another dog? Aww. And then I went, I'm a liberal. I don't buy dogs. I rescue them. Oh, I hate you.
But that was nice of him.
But it was nice.
It was nice to reach out.
Nice.
Yes.
That was nice.
Hannity's an idiot. But
yes.
Think about I mean that. But Stephanie, think about this. I got elected with Kristi Noem. I got to know her pretty well. She's no dummy. Think about what went through her head when she wrote that in her book. She believed that would help her with the base of her party.
Thank you.
She believed that.
That she bragged about it. That she thinks it's good.
Yes.
That someone was there an editor going, it's real good what you did. Tell the story about the rabbits again that you boiled. I mean, oh, Joe, go ahead.
No, Steph, here's my problem though. This election is too close.
Yeah.
And none of Trump's trials mean anything. Him sitting his big fat ass in court every day doesn't mean anything. Somehow we all have to, this lovely coalition of you and I, Tea Party guys and good, decent progressives, got to come together and carry Biden across the finish line.
And listen, people like Michael Steele, at least they're honest. He has told me he is the scorpion that is going to sting me when we get to the other side of the river.
Oh, he's a big puppy. He won't sting. By the way, I will protect you, Steph.
You protect me from Michael Steele, that mean man. Okay. My dad was RNC chair too, so I got so many daddy issues going on. You have no idea. Joe Walsh, thanks for coming on. I've been wanting to get you on forever, and thanks for just caring about, just country over party, about democracy, about decency, as Colin Jost would say, right? Mm-hmm.
You rock, Stephanie. Thanks.
No, you rock, Joe Walsh. I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. Love you. See you again soon.
Thank you so much.